Brooklyn shooting, 4 killed at Crown Heights Social Club. The motive was not clear, but illegal dice and card games were occurring at the club when the shooting started, the police said. The address of a building in Brooklyn where 4 people were fatally shot matched that of a private social club. News from the New York Times, by Edgar Sandoval and Nate Schweber. All photos may not represent the story. Watch to learn English the way you've learned your mother tongue, as this video is especially made. Neighbors had often complained about an unlicensed social club that operated on the first floor of a battered frame townhouse in Brooklyn. The space had a purple sign, Triple Aces Private and Social Event Space, but it was being used as an illegal gambling den that attracted patrons in expensive cars, investigators and residents said. Then, early on Saturday morning, gunfire erupted inside the sparsely furnished club in the Crown Heights neighborhood, where at least 15 people were playing card and dice games, the police said. When the shooting stopped, 4 people were dead and 3 were wounded, the police said. It was the second mass shooting in Brooklyn in the last 3 months and the second quadruple homicide in New York City in a week. The police said the motive for the shooting was not immediately clear, though investigators ruled out gang activity. Dermot F. Shea, the chief of detectives, said investigators were trying to determine if a gambling dispute or a robbery was behind the shooting. No suspects had been identified, he said. The victims ranged in age from 32 to 49 and were struck by more than 15 bullets fired inside the club just before 7 a.m., the police said. 2 of the people killed were from out of state, and the other 2 lived in Brooklyn. 3 others, 2 men and a woman, suffered gunshots wounds but were expected to survive. An 8th person was hospitalized with a leg injury incurred while trying to escape, the police said. On Saturday morning, police officials milled around the front of the social club, which is on the first floor of a low-rise townhouse. Crowds of onlookers pressed against the yellow police tape at the periphery of the scene, around Pacific Street and Utica Avenue. A police crime scene van was parked out front, and forensic investigators in all-white bodysuits walked in and out. Neighbors said that the event space often attracted crowds of people on motorcycles and scooters. Isaac Mickens, a community organizer, described the place as a hole-in-the-wall gambling den, simply furnished with a small bar and a table. It was real tight, real small, casual, low-key. Mr. Mickens said. A little hangout spot. Investigators recovered 2 firearms inside the location, a revolver and a 9mm handgun, Chief Shea said. He said at least 15 people had been inside the cramped club when the shooting erupted. While there appeared to be an illegal gambling den set up on the first floor, he said, there was no evidence people had been drinking. What we see is evidence of some gambling, specifically cards, specifically dice. Chief Shea said. He added that there was no evidence the shooting was related to disputes between street gangs, which officials say have driven much of a spike in gun violence in northern Brooklyn this year. Chief Shea said the first calls to 911 reporting shots fired at the club came at 6:55 a.m. The shooting shattered the morning calm of the neighborhood. Mamadou A. Diallo, the imam at the Masjid El Ihsan Mosque on Utica Avenue, said he had just finished praying when he heard the shots. Moments later, the police flooded the intersection, he said. A lot of shots, almost all together, bam bam bam. Mr. Diallo said. Scared, you know. Police coming from everywhere. Mr. Mickens said that when he made his way near the troubled venue after 7 a.m., he saw people running and screaming, "Oh God! Oh God!" Early Saturday morning, investigators were interviewing witnesses and reviewing a number of videos from inside the club and nearby businesses to determine the chronology of the events and how many guns had been involved, Chief Shea said. We have some individuals back at the 77th precinct, and we're trying to piece together exactly what transpired inside that location, Chief Shea said. Chief of Patrol Rodney Harrison said police had received no complaints about the unlicensed social club over the past 2 years. No activity, no concerns from this location, he said. While the police had not received recent complaints about the club, building authorities had in the past, according to city building records. One complaint from November 2008 said a caller stated that the first floor of the residential property was being used as commercial space, specifically a men's club. A follow-up complaint 15 days later indicated that a caller said the first floor had been converted into a nightclub and was operating 7 days a week. The fatal shooting was the second quadruple murder to rattle the city in a week. Last Saturday morning, the police arrested Randy Rodriguez Santos, a troubled homeless man, and charged him with bludgeoning 5 other homeless men with a 3-foot, 15-pound metal bar as they slept at different street corners of Chinatown. 4 of them died and a 5th was clinging to his life at an area hospital. It was also the second mass shooting in Brooklyn in the last 3 months. Late in July, 1 man was killed and 11 other people were injured when at least 2 gunmen opened fire during the 56th annual Old Timers Day block party in Brooklyn. The police said that shooting appeared to be linked to a gang feud. Crown Heights experienced a rash of shootings earlier this year, many of them linked to gang disputes, prompting the police to step up patrols. Through October 6, the number of people wounded or killed in shootings in the 77th Precinct in Crown Heights, where the shooting on Saturday took place, had nearly doubled over the previous year, rising to 26 from 14. Derek Bryson Taylor contributed reporting. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.